our tallest person.
More pipelines, huge pipelines, not what we want for our nation. Quick, no deadly structures. Governor Brown, stop them before it's
June 14th, and we're pleased to have all of our members here today. Before we move forward on the agenda, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I know that there are folks here regarding the LNG Jordan Cove pipeline, and we have, for the last several meetings, had folks participate. And as you all well know, the land board is responsible for a number of subjects, but the primary role is the acquisition, management, and sale of some state-owned lands that were given to Oregon by the federal government when Oregon became a state. And the items on the land board meeting today concerning proposed land sales are a really great example of what the land board does. We have in Oregon a very strong public meetings laws, and the purpose of those laws is to assure that the public has prior notice when a state or local agency is going to consider a particular topic. The land board follows our public meetings laws by publishing an agenda at its meetings, which we do, I believe, well in advance of the meetings. And as a courtesy, in the past couple of meetings, the land board has heard from members of the public who are concerned about the Jordan Cove project and the Pacific Connector pipeline. We have done this even though the Jordan Cove project and the pipeline were not on the agenda for meetings. And even though discussions concerning the project, decisions concerning the project will be made by Department of State Land and not by the land board or its members. I think it's fair to say, and I'm happy to let the other land board members speak as well, but we are well aware that there is substantial opposition to the Jordan Cove project. And at this point in time, we're not going to continue hearing about Jordan Cove when it's not on the agenda.
Thank you, Governor. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this item. In reviewing the agenda, my name is Stacey McLaughlin, and I wanted to discuss the key performance measures that are mentioned at the end of the item. I'm addressing you regarding that item, and I'm specifically curious about the generalized statement relating to the measurements for improved processes and the work toward better customer service. For example, I would like to know who DSL considers to be their customer. Is it me, a citizen of the state, or a foreign corporation seeking to conduct business within the state, or is it both? And what measurements will be used to ensure equitable treatment of all customers? I am very concerned about the taking of private lands. And as a landowner, or I guess you might call me a customer, a tax-paying customer, I've read the state's constitution regarding property, and I believe it is in direct violation of Section 18 regarding the projects that are before you, Jordan Cove LNG, Pacific Connector, and the South Dunes Power Plant. All needed to be declared for public use. All three of these projects will be owned and operated for and by private corporations for private profits, not destined for public use here in the state of Oregon. These projects cannot be built without FERC approval. And I would like to know, as one of your customers, why Oregon state agencies continue their review. It appears to me as a waste of skilled worker time and state's fiscal resources. And I am questioning why a third extension has been granted. We have raised serious issues about the project and followed the letter of the law, only to be routinely dismissed and ignored by many of the state agencies. The review process for these projects, from a customer service standpoint, has not felt orderly or transparent. More and more, the evidence is pointing to the state of Oregon's permit review process as a predisposed opportunity to provide for private business interests over the will and welfare of the customer, the people. There appears to be one customer, and it is not me as a citizen of this state. I do not believe that DSL is tasked to serve as the guardian and the guide for this applicant by extending deadlines, which has been done 3 times now. I believe that the DSL director has sufficient information to deny these projects today if he were to follow his own guidelines, the guidelines of this department, and extend customer service to all Oregonians. Governor, we are being denied. We are being denied critical information. And now, as a part of that extension, we are being denied additional time to comment regarding information. This is an alarming practice and certainly a breach of public trust. I am exhausted with elected officials succumbing to political sway rather than taking bold action for the welfare of the people and the future generations to protect our environment. Governor Brown, the members of this coalition and affected landowners are not a bunch of bumpkins, as we have been characterized by Pacific Connector. We will not be a feckless flock of sheep in this issue. We are a diverse group of individuals, and we have this in common. We oppose the Pacific Connector and Jordan Cove projects because they are bad for Oregon, and they are bad for you, and they are dangerous to all of us. The dangers associated with Jordan Cove and the Pacific Connector are much too possible, and they are far too perilous. A single moment of Mother Nature's ire or an innocent mistake by a rural firefighter could prove to be a devastating legacy for each of you. Do not squander the opportunity to set Oregon on the right path. You have the right and the responsibility to deny these permits. Please do it.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. I'm sure before the land board. Thank you.
I was going to mention that the earthquake, of course, will impact the Coast Range, and that the pipeline in the Coast Range is in a Class 1, the lowest safety standards used to build this pipeline in the Coast Range. Williams Company is saving lots of money on a lower safety standard, the lowest safety standard in the Coast Range, Class 1, where they can use the thinnest pipes possible, and this will be heavily impacted by this potential 9.0 earthquake.
Thank you.
So if anything you should have included in the drill, you should have included the pipeline and the terminal. Why would you ignore this potential hazard in the tsunami earthquake?
Thank you. I'm very grateful that you brought this matter forward to the land board this morning, and appreciate your time and energy on this issue. Thank you.
Hi, guys.